Okay, this fly comes from one of our good buddies, Ben Porter. Probably one of the craziest guys you'll ever meet. He's a blast to fish with. But one day we were fishing one of our local waters. Really fishes well all the time. And we realized that Ben was kind of near a weed bed, just killing them, just catching more fish than any of us. And so we caught up to him and commandeered his fly box, and we found this fly. And so we were asking him about it, and he calls it the BBBB, or the quadruple B, the Big Ben's brown bugger. Well, the funny thing is, it's not brown; it's an olive color. We're gonna tie it with golden peacock colored Simi Seal, but you can also use the peacock color, and it works really well. But anyway, I've got a size 6 Allen S402 hook in the vise, 4mm brass bead, and I'm just gonna kind of lash that down with some either .015 or .020 lead wire or non-lead wire, and just add some wraps to it and secure the bead up by the eye. For this fly also I'm using some pretty heavy thread. It's 3/0 Montana Fly premium thread in black. You could also use like a burnt orange or red or something to give it kind of a little bit of a hot spot up by the bead if you want. So the first thing we're going to do is take this Simi Seal. So this is just like our Simi Seal leech, but it's kicked up a notch. Take a clump, we're going to preen it back and forth, kind of roll it in our fingers until we get a tail. So here we've got the fibers, good length for a tail. I'll just tie those in. Now what I'll do is I'll take some crystal flash, like root beer colored. You could also use peacock colored crystal flash. And I'm just going to grab 2 strands of it. So I've got my 2 strands. I'm going to tie 2 strands on one side of the tail, fold it over, and tie the other 2 on the other side of the tail. So it just gives the tail a little bit of added flash. Then I'll pull those back and trim those about the length of the tail. And this fly really provided a lot of inspiration for the back half of the Cheech leech as well, because it's pretty complex. It's got a lot of components that I like. Okay, I've got some UTC Ultra wire in copper brown, size small, and I'm going to tie that in. Essentially, we're going to use this to tie down some hackle that we're going to put through this fly. Okay, we're making a dubbing loop, and I'm going to add a little bit of super glue to this fly as well, just to make it durable. And one of the tricks to controlling your Simi Seal is just get some of this touch dub wax, and you just dab your finger in it a little bit. Don't necessarily put it on your thread. You just use a little bit to keep your fingers more grippy. Okay, so I've built my dubbing loop. I'll twist that up and wrap that all the way to the head of the fly. One trick here before I cut this is, if you take your scissors and you go into a dubbing loop like this, instead of just cutting all those fibers, if you just move your dubbing loop into your scissors, it will cut the thread and not the fibers on the dubbing loop. So it creates a really nice head instead of all those fibers trimmed down. Okay, so this is pretty bushy right now, and that's fine. But before we brush it out, we're just going to take a piece of black saddle hackle and just wrap that through the fly, kind of like a woolly bugger. What I've got is just a brown saddle hackle, and so we're going to use that for this fly. We're going to wrap it in just kind of like a woolly bugger. This is Whiting's Euro saddle, and it's probably some of the best stuff for buggers. The other thing that on a stillwater fly or a lake fly, I like my hackle on these types of flies to be somewhat shorter. So I don't really use like the Whiting bugger patches very much for my lake flies. Maybe for like a river woolly bugger I would, but I like a more slim profile. So I'm just going to attach this saddle hackle right here behind the eye, or behind the bead. And I'm just going to start wrapping that back through our dubbing. So when we get to the back, I'm going to take this wire and go over the hackle twice right at the same spot. And then I'm just going to kind of work it up through the hackle and the Simi. And yeah, it doesn't look very good right now, but we're going to brush it all out. Now to top this fly off, we add 2 more strands of crystal flash. We're just going to lay those strands over the top of the whole fly, all the way from the head to the tail. So essentially there will be 4 strands of crystal flash going over the fly, because I tied it in then doubled it over. And cut it off roughly the length of the fly. It's okay if they're a little bit off. And this is a critical part, because if you don't get a really tight, good whip finish on this fly, it will come undone as you brush it out with Velcro. And I suppose you could fish this fly just like this, but really there's a lot that can be done to enhance this pattern right now by Velcro. And you're really going to want to get in there and dig the fibers out. Alright, so that's it. That's the BBBB, and this fly has caught a lot of fish for us. Thanks, Ben.